Previously we worked with linking one bean with another bean, and this is a dependent, right? We did this in our application context. Notice how we have our car bean, and it's linked with our engine bean right here. Well, we have to manually link our beans, but if we follow the Spring IOC, we can actually link these beans automatically. This is what our auto wiring is. So just like in the previous video, when we worked with properties for an engine, we're going to do the same thing for a car. So engine, we have our getters and setters here, and then we have a very basic constructor right here. We're going to do the same thing in our car because we are going to work with our properties. So we are going to change this to car just to match that class type, and we can have all of our getters and setters here. We can also leave this parameterized constructor here as well. That does not matter. So that's the only thing we're changing so far. Back in our XML file, this can be found in the playlist link below the like button where we've coded all of this out. And continuously through this, I will go over each file and refresh it. So that could be in the next video or the next video after that. We're just catching up. But in this one right here, we want to change things back to our properties. So I'm just changing everything back to how we've had it previously. Having it like this, if we want to run our main method, it still is going to run, and it's going to give us the same output as we always have, just like this. Inside of here, we're going to want to change a few things with this. In the XML file, the first thing is we are not going to use this reference, because remember, we're configuring these beans separately. So we're going to take that reference out, and the next thing that we're going to do is inside of the header for this bean, is we're going to want to use the auto wire. So inside of here, we're going to have auto, we already fill it out, wire, and it's going to be set equal to. We can do this multiple different ways. The first one we're going to do is the by name. So that's how we're going to look at it. What this by name means is that we're going to have to change this from engine bean to be engine, or go into the car and change this from engine to be engine bean. Basically, they have to match, because what this is doing is it's going through this class. The auto wire is going to search for this name right here. It's going to find our engine, it's going to use this engine, and it's going to fill it out. So that's how that would work. We can go over to our main, and then we can run it again. Running this, we can see that we get the same exact output. But what if we have like a many-to-many relationship? This one is just an engine to a car. But what if it's like cars to a person? Let's say a person owns a Tesla, Lamborghini, Ferrari, different cars, many different cars, right? Toyota, all these different cars. Well, this is one-to-many, and this can be hard to do by just name. That'll be a lot to do. So what we can do instead is have a by type. And with this by type, we can call this whatever we want. We can call this like engine Lamborghini, because Lamborghinis are pretty cool. And we can see this by type only cares about the type, not the actual name. So if we run it again, it's going to give us the same output. This works. This is awesome. Now, there's one more way we can do it, and we can do this by a constructor. So what we're going to want to do is change our auto wire to instead be constructor, and then we're going to want to change these back to constructors. So instead of having it as property, it's going to be constructor args, and the super easy way that we can do this is just copy this, paste it in here, paste it in here, and paste it in here. So that now that that's all pasted, what we can do is change this back from engine Lamborghini to engine, because it is the constructor type. With the constructor inside of our car, it's going to pass not through here, because if we notice this in our application file, we have our names and our types, the values. So with names and values, it's going to find the getters and setters and put them in there. So it's going to do that, and then it's going to, for the engine part, look for this. It's going to grab our engine, and it's going to fill it out. So we can leave this as properties, because this is not having to deal with the constructor, although we could change it if we want to. So if we run this, it should give us the same output. So this is just another way. There's 3 different ways. We can have by type, by name, by constructor. Each have their own benefits or downfalls. And in the next video, linked below the like button, this playlist, we're going to have a auto wiring with annotation. So just another way to do this, except annotating.